Welcome back, everybody, to week number 10 of the LCS. I'm David Freak Turley, along with Sam, Kobe Hartman-Kensler, and right now we're also joined by Complexity's Nick Wu. So, Nick, coming into this week, you guys had the toughest schedule of any team in LCS. You had 5 teams you were not, with not great records against. You started out on Wednesday 2-0. You started out today with a win against Kurz. Why are you guys suddenly so amazing?
I think we're suddenly so amazing now because, yeah, we had roster swaps, and then the roster swaps, bringing Probably in, gave us, like people said, a breath of fresh air. And he's also been cracking down on us more about practice, and we really try to make practice, I don't know, we try to get the most out of practice with Probably now.
Cool.
So you guys, you talked about it yesterday where you like the Gragas splitting people up, and then you have Kha'Zix to isolate people. This time they took away the Gragas. Did that affect you guys at all?
No, it didn't affect us too much. We thought of the possibility that Voyboy would play Gragas, so we just we went with our own strategy, Darius, and then it all worked out.
So I noticed whenever you pick a champion, there's a lot of similarities between the ones that you pick. And coming from the fighting game community, you have the style that you use in the top lane that I really like. And I just want to know what goes through your mind when you're picking a new champion for top lane. Like, what are the attributes that you really like?
What I really like when I choose a character is just obviously the dueling, the brawling potential, just like how much damage they do, how well they fare on 1v1s, and I guess it's a little bit more selfish because I could care less about the team aspect. I just want to beat this guy one-on-one. I want to outplay him. That's a lot of what it is. And such as for Zed, he does. The main thing is just the damage and mobility are probably one of my more looked at things. I mean, obviously Darius isn't as mobile, but everybody loves Duncan. So. Yeah.
So speaking of Darius, this game you picked up Spirit of the Lizard Elder. This game, which I don't think we've seen a heck of a lot in general. Why did you go for this item?
Well, before the nerf, I thought it was actually just like completely OP. Like the true damage, Darius is busting out like even more true damage with this item, and just that item in itself gives like a lot of AD for a cheap price, and it scales his ultimate or all his skills really well, and it just gives him even more mixed damage because he has magic from bleed and true on his ult and the Spirit of the Lizard Elder, and the regen helps earlier, like the mana and health regen. You really don't, like if you spam a lot, you don't go home, but towards later it probably kind of falls. The item probably itself falls off, and I might have swapped it out for something. I'm not sure what, but I might have swapped it out if the game went on for like a lot longer. I might have opted for some more tankiness.
Yeah. So speaking of the game going on for a long time, I've heard people say or speculate that if Darius steals all the kills early on, you hurt your team's chances later because he doesn't scale as hard. Do you feel the same way?
In somewhat, yeah. I could see why people think that because Darius he gets kited easily. He doesn't dish out damage immediately anymore when people start getting real tanky or start going to the late game. So I can agree with that, but I think most times if you do pick Darius, you're trying to end it earlier. So. Yeah, if I do steal a lot of kills, I believe I got a lot actually those games, but yeah. We still pulled it out. So, but I imagine if we went to 60 minutes or something, we might have lost.
So also in the top lane, you said you like the brawling style. How do the summoner spells play into that? Because Voyboy, his manager actually forces him to take teleport more often now. What goes into your choices?
We had tested teleport, and I wasn't like a teleport player. Like I couldn't make the right plays or the right calls with teleport. And I mean that's what you need to run teleport. It's a lot on the user. Your team could tell you to come in, but it all ends up being on you knowing when and how to use it. And I just didn't work well with it. Everybody has their moments. I had some moments in scrims where I did well with teleport, but overall, we just thought I would be better with Ignite and trying to just like win the lane.
Okay, so last question for you. Dating back to the LCS qualifiers, right? You guys and Marn qualified, and there was a story with you and your brother where it didn't matter who made it, you guys were happy that one of you guys, one of the Smith brothers, made it into the LCS. Well, your last match of the season is against your brother. It's against Marn. And basically, this is the do or die. One of you will definitely be in bottom 8 if one of you lose, and the other one has a shot at playoffs. How do you feel coming into this match now?
We feel pretty confident that we could win, and I would like to win, of course, and I think Marn could be Quantic. I think we could both be Quantic if it came down to it, and I mean it's going to have to. So I think that we're going to do well. We're both going to try our best, and then whatever happens, we're going to deal with it. But at least we hope one of us is at least going to stay in, and just hope for the best that both stay in.
All right, well, good luck to you in your matches, and you know, good luck in the tournaments that follow. And thank you very much for your time for the interview. So that was Clicky D, but it's time for now. Clicky D, sorry, that was Nick Wu. Got myself confused up, but now it's time for our third match of the day, which is Team Solo Mid against Good Game University. TSM will lock down a tie for first place with a win. It's a guarantee there, while a victory for GGU guarantees them a spot in the playoffs. But standing in their way is the LCS's hottest team.
A lot of teams are on a roll right now. GGU is one of them. They used to be last, now they're climbing up the ranks really rapidly.
We haven't used all our strategies, but we're very versatile and we can definitely take a game off them.
It's not like early on in the season where you just didn't really care. Every team is actually strong and any team can beat another team.
It's like our last chance to prove that we have what it takes to stay in the LCS.
We really want to get a game off them like we did with Curse, and hopefully we can pull a win.
We're going to upset them.
We'll see if they can pull that off. TSM has won all 3 games against GGU so far, but this is a very different GGU than the one they faced in Week 7.
Yeah, their game in Week 7 was a low kill count, and TSM really just had control the whole game. The odd one, he played his support jungler style. He was 2-2-21 in 3 games versus GGU. He just controls the map very well, focuses on those objectives, and TSM also focused on banning Zion Spartan. They banned Akali against him, actually, all 3 times. Now, Akali, she's had a few balance changes, so a little bit less damage. It takes a little bit longer for her ult to come back, so the snowballing in lane is a little bit less effective, but we'll have to see if they continue to ban that out or if they don't think it's a threat anymore. Yeah. GGU, they're 5-3 since Daydream and joined, though, so they're definitely still feeling good. They're moving up. They started in 8th place. Now they're up and then they're tied up for 5th, so they're definitely on a roll.
On a roll they are, so call them butter. But what was already going to be a tough match for GGU will be more difficult after they were informed yesterday that they will lose their first ban today for violating LCS rules regarding conduct during game pauses.
Yeah, players are prohibited from discussing the game or game strategy during pauses. This ensures that the players' pause are exclusively to deal with technical issues, and it keeps player from pausing the game with an ulterior motive in mind. They've been warned several times about this. They just kind of shrugged it off, and now it's going to cost them pretty big. Because they broke that rule again, GGU are going to lose their first ban today.
So, of course, because they are on the red side, Good Game University, TSM will get their first ban, then GGU will basically AFK out and let the ban timer run through for their first one. Then they'll get their next 2 as normal. So we got to get into this game, of course. Let's, got the rules out of the way. Let's actually talk about the match itself. Let's start with the lineups. On the blue side, Team Solo Mid. Dyrus in the top lane, the odd one in the jungle, Reginald in mid, Wild Turtle on AD carry, and Xpecial on support.
And in the red corner, it's GGU. Zion Spartan will be up top. Nintendude in the jungle. Jintei at middle. Don't Mash Me on AD. And Daydreamin' supporting.
Daydreamin' on support indeed. So, gonna get these players into the game. And we've seen 2 crazy upsets so far, right? Yeah. Bottom 8 teams beating top 4 teams. Like, crazy stuff going on here. What are the chances for the next one?
In nail biters, too. I mean, the chances are definitely high, but the way that they've happened, not just the fact that they've been upsets, but the way that they've played out inside the base, everyone just their backs to the wall defending the Nexus. This is how the last day of LCS should be. Everybody should be fighting till their very last breath. Like they're all in the Alamo defense mode here, just around those Nexus turrets, and they don't want to let anything fall, even if they're that far behind. It also gives hopes to losing teams because they've seen already in the day, teams have been coming back from these crazy deficits.
And actually, you mentioned the Alamo defense. I remember Good Game University was like the original Alamo failed offense base because they went up against, Curse in the first week with Kale Twitch, 5-man the Nexus, lost to Curse.
Feel like everybody would like to pick up an ex-Peke for their team just for the last days, even if they could borrow somebody like that, because it really shows like it's being crucial right now.
I actually like that ex-Peke has actually become the new term for backdoor. like legitimately, like in all the games I've played, when it comes down to it, it's like people start yelling ex-Peke, and all, it's not even backdoor anymore. It's literally called Peke. And I mean, hey, speaking of him, we've seen TF now a bunch in a row as well.
Yeah. Definitely one of the best champions for that because of not only the fact that he has a global movement, but he also often buys a Lich Bane, which is so nice with bringing down buildings. Look at this GGU team. They always have a lot of style. They have big hair as well.
They do. And then you like waving it back and forth. I'm a fan. Okay, we got Gente, of course, on your screen there. And speaking of Nintendo as well, in talking with GGU about how they ended up playing their games, we talked about it being a different team since Week 7. These are guys who, they used to play Jungle Leona, do a bunch of really, really crazy things, and they've kind of toned it down a little bit and have played a bit more standard as well.
Yeah, they almost went a little bit too conservative, I thought, yesterday, though.
Yeah.
I mean, they just, as soon as they got a little bit behind, they didn't want to take any chances, and they kept on seeding dragons. They left towers. They wouldn't fight over these objectives if they didn't feel like they definitely had the upper hand, and they slowly lost the game. To me, that's very anticlimactic. That's not what we're going to do on the last day, especially of this LCS. I want to see everybody just fighting like we have so far.
We'll see what style ends up coming out from these guys. Of course, we have all 10 players into the game. We will be underway very, very shortly, so don't worry. Game 3 about to come at you guys. So I'm curious, though, which GGU actually comes out today. Right? You talked about them being almost too slow yesterday. We've seen them pull out these long-term poke wins. We've seen them go super ham as well. What do you expect against TSM, who's known to be aggressive?
I think that GGU, after the last loss yesterday, it was a little bitter for them, so I think that they're going to flip it back and they'll return to their aggressive style. They did use Elise Jungle twice yesterday, so we'll also have to keep an eye out for that one because that really fits their offensive style where they like to go almost everybody on their team is a threat, and they don't really have that one person to soak up a bunch of damage.
Well, we look at the picks and bans coming through here. GGU, they've got 7 seconds left. What do you think the first ban is?
It's going to be Karthus here, maybe aimed at that Reginald because Reggie has been using Karthus to great effect in several of TSM's games, and they really put a high priority. Oh!
I'm sorry. Okay, Riven and Elise have been banned out by TSM. Now, GGU, what is their second ban going to be? It's Renekton, too late.
Oh, bad boys. Bad boys. That's what you get for breaking the rules. No first ban for them. You had me so caught up in the story, too. Oh, that was well played. Well played, Freak. All right, so they did ban out the Elise, though, so it's not going to be another jungle Elise here for Nintendo. He's going to have to try out something new.
Okay, so Shen, the first pick here from TSM. Dyrus, it's like channeling their hotshot now, man. He's on that split pusher tank.
They've made that return to the global playstyle, like we said. TSM definitely embracing their Season 2, and it's really helped for them because that was when they were dominant, really. They were on a roll of however many tournaments they won in North America, almost all of them the whole season. And it's really good that they've returned to their roots because with the addition of Wild Turtle, he really complements that aggressive style that Reggie was known for.
On the other side, though, we have GGU playing a little bit more long-ranged right now. They're looking at Caitlyn. You're still laughing at me.
I can't believe you got me with that.
You delivered the line yourself. Nasus and Caitlyn picked up here for GGU University.
The Nasus, there we go. That is the objective control. Now they will have that point man. He's all about being that tanky mid and late game presence in team fights. Reggie's going to lock in his Karthus. No surprise there. So that's 2 globals already for TSM.
You mentioned it being Season 2 style, and look at that. These are champions we have seen basically forever throughout the last year. So Sona and Karthus are locked in. It is now GGU's turn to pick up, and they've been playing. Speaking of kind of consistent style, they've been playing Caitlyn and Nasus a lot recently.
Yeah, they have. I mean, we've asked a couple of the junglers about the state of Nasus too, and I believe it was Crumbs. He was like, "Yeah, he's pretty much perfect for if you want the mid game, the late game, shutting down AD carries, and then objective controls. The only thing he's lacking is that early game skirmish and the early game ganks." Which is the reason that Crumbs doesn't play Nasus, because he really loves that aspect of junglers, and he puts a very high priority on that. A lot of APs being shifted through here, even hovering over that Master Yi for a while. That would be definitely a new pick for the LCS. Very exciting one. A lot of mid players like Alex Eeks, he'll stream a lot of AP Master Yi mid, but not too many people bring it out in the actual tournaments. And they are going to lock in the Jace plus Lux. Large poke from this team.
Exactly. That GGU lineup, I mean, all of them just so incredibly long range, and so now it's TSM's turn to figure out what they do against this. Once again, GGU can see the lineup on the right-hand side, TSM on blue. They've got to lock in their last few champions here, and GGU University, they're only hiding a support at this point.
So what TSM could do right here is recognize that they're trying to poke and go with a hard initiate. This jungler Nocturne is pretty good with that because you can have Shen on top of him, and so the problem that some Nocturnes run into of being too squishy when they dive all the way in won't really be an issue. The other one that they could choose would be a Malphite, and then have Shen and Malphite sort of switch between jungle or top there, keep GGU guessing, but it looks like they're pretty much decided on having Odd One be that Nocturne, and they're content to have Dyrus again on that Shen up in the top lane. They've worked on their communication issues. Yeah. They'll be calling the Shen ultimates on the specific person, and we'll see how they can execute it. This time, Varus being the AD that they're going to lock in.
TSM almost got a full Season 2 lineup. If that was Ezreal, if that was Ezreal, this is a year ago, a screenshot from a year ago of one of their champ selects. Instead, that is going to be Varus picked up, and Daydreamin' now is going to consider his support. We've seen him on a lot of crazy things so far. We've seen him on LeBlanc, Elise, a lot of crazy things.
So this is probably going to be a lock in here on Blitzcrank, I'm thinking, because Daydreamin' loves hooks, Thresh is banned, and the AD he could go up against if they do 2 versus 2 lane is going to be Varus with no personal escapes. So that would tough break.
It's okay. So Jono,
which is a crucial part of poke comp. So he's going more team oriented there. His reflex was, yes, Blitzcrank, I want to get that Varus, but for the team, I'll go Janna. We'll give that movement speed. I'll have the extra reset for our poke comp that stops the disengage from Nocturne. And that's going to be very helpful for them. So we'll have to see how well this poke versus split push team fights come out.
So how do you think GGU deals with that split push then? Do they just say, screw it, go down mid lane, or
they
heads up?
5-man down a lane, they siege up, they poke down that turret, and they play chicken. Who's going to come back first? If TSM are the ones to buckle, it will be Odd One ulting in, Shen ulting from a side lane that he's pushing straight on the Odd One, and they try and land a hard engage. It's up to Janna really then to try and get that disengage off, and then with the Jace acceleration gate, if they can get away, it will be a big win for them. But really, it's going to be who backs down first.
All right, we'll see who does end up backing down. Once again, guys, we're here into Game 3 of the day. We've got 8 for you guys overall, so 25% of the way through, champ select done, loading into the game. And just to recap what this game means, TSM gets the win here against GGU. They are guaranteed a tie for first and second against Curse. That will happen at the very worst. They'll finish top 2 with a win here. GGU, they get a win here. They're guaranteed 5th or 6th. They lose this, though, and they're in danger of not even making it to the playoffs. So this game means a heck of a lot for these guys. If TSM drops, they could always tie break against Dignitas and or Curse and drop to 3rd as well. So again, there's a lot of positionings at stake here. You can see the players on your screen. You can see Kobe and me on your screen as well, which I kind of feel like we're blocking the view of the players, but it's okay. We'll be off your screen soon enough.
Some of us were players here. We belong up on the screen too. All right, we get into Summoner's Rift here. Let's see. GGU versus TSM.
So we can see TSM on the blue side, the bottom left corner, leaving out of their base. Odd One pops the Q down to get some extra move speed. Good choice there. GGU spawning in the top right in red, and they're going to make their ways through the base. And kind of both sides are splitting up right now.
Only a single red elixir bought this game. That might be a record here since they've really just exploded across all teams. Everybody's spreading out though, so it is going to be one of the more safe starts that we've seen. There haven't been a lot of recent level 1 fights.
There really haven't been. We saw a fair number in like week 7 and 8. We had a week where there was like 16 kills in the first 2 minutes, like across each game, like some ludicrously high number. But here, yeah, you've got a couple of defensive wards, and guys are kind of waiting on their side of the map.
So it is going to be GGU opting for the normal 2 versus 2 and 1 versus 1 top there. They want to send Jace against Dyrus. They feel like Zion's going to have the upper hand in that lane. Plus, he'll be able to interrupt Dyrus when he does hit that level 6. Nobody has gone with a summoner teleport, though. So it looks like GGU, they've taken that the thing I was talking about where they're just going to play chicken in the late game. They don't want to try and play TSM split pushing game. They're just going to group up in one lane and try and shove it down and force TSM to come to them.
It'll be interesting to see that game of chicken, though. I remember TSM versus Marn when they got like 1 or 2 inhibs down against Marn and played chicken at sort of Baron and forced Marn to lose their own base. We'll see if TSM can kind of keep that going and get themselves well fed in this one. Xpecial and Wild Turtle taking the double golden for themselves. Reginald helping with Dyrus as they take down the Wolves, and Dyrus actually being given full XP on this Wolf camp. Zion Spartan takes away the Wolves on his side. So these teams really sharing a lot of early jungle experience.
Yeah, it's pretty common nowadays. A lot of teams will just start on all 3 of the small jungle camps, having their mid laner and their top laner solo one, AD and support do another, while the jungler starts one. So that you really don't want to let anything on the map go to waste for your start, because the tiniest edge in the early game can mean everything. That one creep that gets you to level 2 can just snowball your entire lane. And we have to keep in mind now that one of the most important things for a poke team comp like GGU are running are early game towers. If they're able to grab this early top tower with this Caitlyn and Janna lane, which they very well should be able to do pretty quickly, and get this switch before their bottom one falls, that would be a huge win for GGU.
Well, we'll see if they can do that. Nocturne has just finished up the blue buff. Rachel actually running to the left as well. That might just be for a ward, but Janna and Kate are putting some damage down. Dyrus just defending at his own turret. And Dyrus, he actually did learn Shadow Dash at level 2, so he'll be trying to look for some kind of turret pressure.
Yeah,
mid though.
He tried to pull off a full range taunt there onto Janna. Just barely out of range of the turret though, so he wasn't rewarded with any turret shots. But it looks like Odd One already gonna make his way up there. Probably just go clear a lane or so. Shen is actually really good at setting up kills in the 1 vs 2 lanes because of that long range of taunt, but they're just gonna clear out a wave.
Well, GGU did spot Nocturne with a ward, I think. Never mind. Only if he went through the river did they spot him. I don't remember that right now. But they have sent Nintendo to the right-hand side. Then he recalled back. So right now, TSM are actually freezing this bottom lane. You can look at where Xpecial and Wild Turtle are standing and compare that to Zion Spartan. Zion Spartan is nowhere near the minions that are falling over.
Yeah, he just wants to barely get in that range of experience. Doesn't want to take any free damage here. As we see, Nasus come down. He's going to support as well. So really both junglers just being lane partners right now, trying to keep up the turrets. Like I said, it's so important. The first turret, when you're going against a poke comp, could make or break the entire mid game here. And the top turret already down to half, whereas bottom here for GGU, fully healthy.
Hasn't even taken the scratch. I hear them yell, go, go, go. They jump in on Xpecial. The slow is there. Can they have enough damage? They knock him back with the Ignite on. He puts the Q out, and that is first blood picked up for Nintendo. Now Wild Turtle caught. Kind of alone right there. Can they get enough damage onto him? The Wither comes across. Nintendo runs back. Cleanses pop. Zion Spartan gets it with the EQ. 2 kills picked up for GGU to start off the day. Game.
Okay, so towers early game are important, but double kills for your solo lane are equally as important right there. Very, very nice job there by Zion and Nintendo. The importance of Ghost versus Flash right there. Ghost is amazing at lane ganks. That is the biggest difference. That and the shorter cooldown of it mean that he can now even put pressure on this bottom one. Oh my god, he has Flash.
You are not on today,
I'm
good
really
sir.
not on today.
Their first ban, but no. Okay, so Zion Spartan and Nintendo have cleared out this bottom lane. The Cannon Minion taking some of that up for themselves. Turret down to half, so suddenly the 1v2 lane, by the way, actually winning for GGU. We don't see that all that often, honestly.
Well, a double kill will definitely do that for you. Since it's been both junglers in the lane, it's more like 2v2 lanes for pretty much both of these. It looks like TSM tried to get a little aggressive there, but not even going to stay in for the fear tether, and they just want to keep this turret alive as long as they can.
They did force the cleanse out of Don't Mash Me, though. Dyrus did land the taunt, forced him to run away from that one, and of course they disengaged, but they're still sneaking up right here. You can see them running through the brush. Mash Me and Daydream know about this, though, but Advan has successfully pushed the lane up with his teammate, and look at that. They're actually now zoning out the dual lane here of GGU. I think it's 5-5 versus 4-4. The TSM here have a level advantage.
Odd One has not gone back into the jungle to clear any of the small camps since his first rotation through. Great tornado there. Good disengage from Daydreamin'. That's how you use a Howling Gale. You can do that against a lot of opponents, actually. It works great against Alistar lanes as well when they come in for the headbutt. You just have to have quick reaction speed.
Well, apparently Daydreamin' does have that right here, so the man seems to be more awake than Daydreaming right now, because those reactions are there. Jinte in the mid lane has hit level 6, has the final spark. Nintendo runs up to the top, though, has not been seen by a ward while he does this. He's going to help his team push on out right now. No one losing too many health bars just yet. You see the minions falling over, the Howling Gale coming across. This one, maybe less reactive, more just push-based. But here we can see Advan does land the taunt there. They put some damage on a Mash Me down below half health. The turret's going to hit him as well. The Q comes across. No, the shield keeps him alive. And now it's Nintendo trying to put some damage back onto the Odd One. TSM forced to back away, but of course so did Mash Me.
That's why Shen is such a good champion in the 2 vs 1s, because he can make you take tower hits if you get close enough. It looks like that's going to save the turret for now. Odd1 finally going to recall. He's level 6 before he goes back to kill any jungle minions.
Of course, the Spirit Stone had already been picked up for Nintendo X, so the item advantage right now in GGU's favor, and then it changes as Odd1 picks stuff up. Zion Spartan back in this lane, 36 minions on him. I want to point out these 1v2 lanes because we haven't talked about them in minions so much. 37 versus 25, an advantage for Zion Spartan. The AD carry is very similar.
You also have to remember that Zion did start with that red elixir, so that's 250 gold right off the bat that he used to enable him to pick up those kills. The extra damage definitely coming through there, and a very worthwhile buy.
Seems to be working out, though, and you can see still the gold lead, 1,300, holding strong right now for Good Game University. And they 3-man the top lane again. Dyrus has not been back to buy. He is level 6, though. This top turret taking a bunch of pain, and Dyrus going to back off from that one. Actually recalls all the way back to base. GGU will find their first turret of the game right here, 7 minutes and 50 seconds in. Shock Blast hits special. GGU still in control here.
They knock over the first domino. Now you want to see Don't Mash Me and Daydreamin' make their way to another lane and continue to take down turrets. Once they get down all the outer turrets, they can start forcing the rest of the objectives here. Dyrus is level 6 now, though, so he can hold that top lane while the pressure from GGU is in that middle.
Now you can see them pushing down this mid lane, taking a little bit of damage onto that turret. Blue buff, of course, was just grabbed by Reginald. Saw that on your screen. Turret now down to half health right now. Nice damage here from Good Game University. They're going to find another minion wave as well. They're going to keep on moving forward. They've got 4 members here. It's Jace actually recalling back to the base. Not the one helping this push, but keeping his bottom turret alive. And now Wild Turtle and Xpecial have been sent up from, well, just Xpecial, I should say, has been sent up from the bottom.
So the game of chicken may start a lot earlier than we expected here. Dyrus has his ulti. Odd1 is ready to engage. They actually missed their catch here on Xpecial, so that's not going to come through. But they have TSM has all of their weapons ready. Everybody's got their ultimates from level 6. They have summoners available. So it's really going to be next time GGU sieges up, will we see TSM pull the trigger and go for that hard engage, because the next team fight winner will be rewarded with Dragon as well.
And that is going to be a pretty important thing to pick up. We'll see if these teams can make that fight happen in their favor. 1,400 gold right now puts GGU in the lead, and they're grouping back up towards the mid lane. Once again, 4 strong here as Wild Turtle fights heads up against Zion Spartan's Jace. Shen still in the top lane. That is Dyrus split pushing. But, you know, he's caught up in minion farm to his opposing top laner. And here comes the knockdown. They're going to go in onto Don't Mash Me. Can he get away from this one? The Shen comes by as well. They're going to have a 5-on-4. Can they do the damage? Daydream trying to run away. The taunt again. Mash Me's going to fall down. Final Spark doesn't find any kills either. 1-for-0 in the battle. And Teddy running back. Gente running back. The shield is across as well. The ult comes across. Does not find any kills from Requiem, but TSM definitely did win that battle.
So that was not exactly the game of chicken that GGU were looking for. The synergy between a poke comp is the most important thing. You have to have all 5 of your members there. If you don't have acceleration gate from Jace, you can see the delayed engage from TSM right there was successful. If the extra speed boost was there for GGU and the knockback from Zion, then they might have been able to get out for that. But a huge one for TSM. They do get that dragon on top of it that I was talking about, but GGU want to answer for the mid turret and they might get pinched.
They get a little bit of damage, but they are afraid, in fact, of that from GGU, or sorry, from TSM, I should say. But they are still holding people up in this lane. It's now actually a split happening once again for Good Game University. They are keeping Zion Spartan down there, farming up, and over the top it's Don't Mash Me, being given a lot of uncontested minion kills here. And he's going to try to get his gold income up.
He's missing all of them,
He missed literally all of them there.
The globals from TSM were both burned in that fight, though. So they got the gold back to even, but they used some very, very long cooldowns. The only thing is, they've still got that combo of the CC ultis from Varus and Sona that are going to make their team fight very, very strong.
Okay, and we'll see how that team fight ends up panning out as we move on to the next one. Of course, with Dragon dead, there's not a lot for these guys to contest unless they go for turrets. Don't Mash Me, again, alone in the top lane. He doesn't have a turret to fight, actually. He's going to back off right here.
Now is the time when GGU have to not abandon their game plan. They need to group back up. They've got blue buff on Gente. This is exactly what they want. They can poke at the turrets and siege right back up. The globals from TSM are down, so there won't be a threat of Dyrus split pushing while they're doing this. They won't be under that time crunch while they're trying to siege up middle would probably be the ideal target here. And it looks like Zion's going to return to the bottom lane, so if they do, then it would be a 4-man siege.
Okay, so let's see if that ends up being what happens here. We can see Zion Spartan 1v1 up against Dyrus. As you say, that ulti is down. Mash Me grabbing his red buff for himself. We can see as we crest into mid-game, really no major advantages anymore on either side, despite GGU having a kill and a turret on their side. That Dragon from TSM definitely helped them out.
Yeah, and TSM, they're continuing to put pressure all over the map so that GGU can't group up and pull off their poke comp. Don't Mash Me and Daydreamin had to go top here. They don't want to let these minions go to waste, and now it's just basically the support and AD lane that we're so used to seeing.
Oof, and Zion Spartan in that lane just takes a bunch of pain from Dyrus. A nice taunt under the turret, gets some pain right there. Mash Me and Daydreamin running back. Here comes Nintendo, though. They get the Wither onto Dyrus. They're going to bring down the turret. Now, will they keep moving forward? Misses the Shock Blast. I don't know if that's going to be enough for Zion Spartan. Huey's in melee form and walks right back out. Of course, Nocturne is waiting in the wings. The Odd One's not going to find someone to kill.
So the only turret left up on the outside ring for TSM right now is that middle one. Don't Mash Me getting dove.
And look at the burst combo that's available there. Daydreamin trying to heal himself to keep him alive, but it might not be enough. Flash from Wild Turtle. The shield's not going to be enough. Xpecial secures that kill for TSM. 2-0 right there, and this top turret could be theirs also.
We talked about keeping track of cooldowns of ultimates yesterday and it being so important, and the Koreans and Chinese putting a lot of emphasis on that. Against a team like TSM has, that just becomes even more important. Karthus, Shen, and Nocturne can come from anywhere, and if you don't know when those are available, then they'll just surprise you like that. Go for a tower dive, get some kills, and a free tower to answer. TSM looking really good in this one.
They are looking pretty good right now. The early game just went so well to GGU, but aside from that double kill bottom lane, that's the only thing they've really found for themselves as far as kills are concerned. 13:35 into the game. Zion Spartan still trying to get that split push farm up. He's got a decent clip here, but you're just looking at how much gold TSM are earning. And look at, Reginald 124, Wild Turtle 131. Looking really good for a lot of all-stars there.
Yeah, TSM really at home with all these two. We said these are the main tools that they used in Season 2, and they're very, very practiced with them. So they know exactly how they're going to execute. GGU now finally grouping up with their 5-man. Dyrus is split pushing bottom. This is that end game of chicken.
Let's see if they can do that. TSM holding on right now. 4v5. Shock Blast comes out, doesn't find anything. The acceleration gate still down. That's going to dissipate. Traps starting to come down from Don't Mash Me. GGU moving off to the side. They're actually going for the blue buff here, Zion Spartan.
Blue buff is so important for this GGU team. They actually would rather have two of them. Wild Turtle! Click on how much is that?
Like 50.
It was below 50 before he started that. That was 40. I'm going to say 3.
There's 3.
43.
43 health indeed. So very, very low. Nearly killed Wild Turtle, and that actually allowed them to push down and take that turret. Zion Spartan actually looks to be aggressive here onto Dyrus. Goes through the acceleration gate and says, you know what, never mind, you're cool. You know, I just won't go for you after all.
So the power of the poke right there, you can see how explosive these fights are going to be. As soon as one spell lands, all the rest are going to come out chain on top of that person. It was really well executed by GGU, and Wild Turtle was lucky he had his cleanse up, because that was going to be his life.
Well, thankfully, he did not go down for TSM fans out there, but GGU had tied the gold lead with this. 3-1 in turrets, 3-2 in kills in TSM's favor. And again, TSM up 1-0 in Dragons. And speaking of Dragons, it is coming up in just 50 seconds.
So that will probably definitely
yes.
be a point of contention. I wanted to point out Wild Turtle's adaptation, though. Usually he's one to go with Infinity Edge. He almost gets Infinity Edge on every single champion, but because this is such a high action early and mid game, he's gone with the Bloodthirster to power spike early, because he knows that GGU running this poke comp are going to be grouping up very early and trying to force these objectives. Odd One creeping down the river here. He has his ultimate up, but nobody else is in position, so Zion will be okay. They definitely don't want to lose that blue buff on Zion Spartan. That's very important for their entire game plan. And even the blue of TSM should be receiving quite a lot of attention from GGU, because if at any point they're able to get 2 blue buffs, they will be able to get whatever objective they want.
Well, let's see if they can do that. Of course, there are some wards on the left-hand side jungle. You can see those red blips on your mini-map. And of course, now GGU has taken control of the Dragon, though. And that is TSM kind of looping around the side, so they might try to fight for this fight.
Yeah, Nintendo has his ultimate, but there we go. The Nocturne comes in.
They push back Reginald for a good long time. He's not ready to the fight just yet. Zion Spartan and Nintendo trying to run away now. A beautiful taunt from Dyrus. The crescendo following up on top of that one. Can they get enough damage? Mash Me, Zion Spartan trying to run away. A nice final spark finds 2. No kills have happened just yet. Jinte still putting shields down. Running back through the acceleration gate. That does help them kite backwards. Now Daydreamin. Can he dodge lay waste? It's not going to look too good for him. Auto attack Rat comes out. He's still alive against Reginald. And Reggie, does he have the ulti? He does. Daydreamin, will the shield be up? He's trying to go for it. He's not going to survive. Reggie picks up that kill unassisted. And now TSM are trying to control the dragon, but they're on top of a ward.
Oh, the rest of the team trying to finish off this dragon. Caitlyn Snipe does come in, but it looks like GGU not going to go for it. TSM rewarded with that one. Reggie was soloing with Daydreamin that entire time, by the way, up on the side of that fight. And they barely won that engage, and it's only because the weakness of poke comps are when you're not around a turret. They love sieging up against turrets. The open objectives like Dragon and Baron are really the weak spots for these teams. Even so, they did a great job of trying to disengage.
Absolutely, but still a great pickup by TSM. A good fight to start. Shock Blast comes by again. And Zion's partner wants to keep this turret alive, but TSM, they just picked up a 1-for-0. They picked up an unanswered dragon as well. That is their second on the map, I believe. TSM might be the first team to not get upset here in the last day of the season.
They might not, but all their ultimates are on cooldown right now. So if there was a time for GGU to strike and try and get secondary turrets, this would be a good point for that because the dragon's not up. The buffs on the map are not up. The only really points right now to go after are turrets.
Let's see if they can get any of these. Let's look around the map and see what these guys are going for. Actually, so which turret would they push for if they wanted to push something down?
The middles are always the most important because you get control of both sides of the map. And like I said, the blue buff is so important for this GGU team. So they would either choose top or middle. They would probably not go for that bottom one because there's not a lot on that side of the map that they even really care much about.
Okay. Now we can see the GGU have, in fact, grouped towards the mid lane, so seems to be an astute observation on this side as Wild Turtle comes by, and now they're running towards the top half, so there's the two they're looking at. They're pinging around by the dragon. Oh, they see Reginald Light Binding is not quite landing. Golem, I meant, right there, by the way. And blue buff has spawned up. Dyrus is there. The ward down for TSM as well. What will GGU do about this? They've now got a 4-on-5. They do not have Don't Mash Me quite yet in the fight.
They should go for this because they have another 30 seconds of no ultimate here from the Dyrus, and Reggie's is down too, but they don't know that because it's not well timed, and they aren't going to stick their necks out. Blue buff for Reggie. That's huge.
Actually, sorry, I thought I saw someone last hit it. Reggie.
Wow, Reggie didn't get it.
Reggie is not wearing it. It's Wild Turtle who last hit that, actually. So
that's a whoops-a-daisy.
You have that on the AD carry. Reggie actually fairly low on mana. If they fight right here, could be risky. Nice shock blast comes across there from Zion Spartan. Already finished a Muramana with cooldown boots as well.
Yes, that is the poke build for Jace right there. If he also would finish that longsword into a brutalizer, then that's really the key structure that he needs. He's already got his tier fully stacked, like you can see right there, doing the work early. So that's going to relieve some of the mana issues that he's going to have. Meanwhile, we've got another tier on Jinte that's just started, so it's a little bit weaker.
Okay, so we'll see how these end up panning out with their builds. Wild Turtle in the mid lane, gonna be wave clearing. Actually does a pretty good job of that. I want to check. He has actually maxed his Q first. Something I bring out every once in a while. A lot of guys tend to max Hail of Arrows, and he went for Piercing Arrow. Again, you talked about the adaptation of Wild Turtle, the item build. He's gone for a skill build. It's a little bit different here as well, dealing with all the waves of minions. So Wild Turtle seems to be doing a very, very good job there. GGU starts putting ward coverage near the left-hand side of the river. Is that Baron, or are they just trying to control the river right here?
Well, the map control is really important, but it is definitely focusing on Baron. Nobody wants to burn it down, but the threat from TSM with all their globals means that any sort of mispositioning right here will cause a huge... It looks like GGU actually just going to go straight back down middle here. They want to keep up that pressure. Dyrus still up top. His Stand United is ready, so we'll have to see if TSM want to pull the trigger again.
See if they do this. Nintendo in the front. The Piercing Arrow comes across, landing some damage from Wild Turtle. Nintendo forced to run away. The Wall of Pain putting out a lot of pressure. There's the ult comes across. Nintendo's not in a good place. The ult comes in from Daydreamin. Nintendo almost survives that fight, but Daydreamin's going to go down as well. And Reginald's going to keep moving on forward. Can they find Don't Mash Me? Can they find a third kill in this fight? Acceleration Gate getting Zion Spartan out of the battle. It looks like TSM will more or less back off and look for buildings this time.
You can see that a poke comp is not the easiest comp to pull off. You have to be very well coordinated. Now Reggie gets another catch, forcing the flash from Zion pretty much for free right there.
And now is TSM with the flash down from Zion. Only Mash Me really here to defend. We're looking for a turret.
They're going to get that turret too. Don't Mash Me can't go any closer. Laser tries to clear, but it's already down. TSM answering back. Dyrus did not have to use his Stand United, by the way, for that catch. That was just the 4 members doing a good job. And his Shock Blast actually doesn't make him stop recalling either. Small win for him.
Just whiffed that one, unfortunately, there for Zion Spartan. Odd1 taking away. Oh no, Reginald and Odd1 sharing the race. So nice of them. Sharing is caring after all on TSM and most things in the world. Wild Turtle split pushing on the bottom. 208 minions on him. First place in the game. 2-1-2 as well. He's had a really big impact this game so far.
Yeah, and Nintendo has to be careful because he is one of the least mobile champions on this GGU team. So they have to move as a unit, really, make use of that acceleration gate for the disengage, and hope that Jen is nearby next time. So if someone does get caught out, they have to kite as one and damage whoever's the first one. And like we saw, there was not much threat there deterring Reggie from following it up, and they were just able to chain on that ulti from Wild Turtle to pick up the kill. It does whiff this time, though.
Does light binding, comes across, doesn't quite land either right here. Reginald finds a bit of poke in the Nintendo, so does Zion Spartan onto Xpecial. Acceleration gate, they're going to back off from that one right now. Mashme going to last hit some minions in the mid lane. Dyrus still shoving up the top though, and no one is responding to him. It looks like it's going to be Zion Spartan finally making his way across the map, but it's going to be on top of his turret when he gets there.
Yeah, Zion responding. He calls chicken first, goes up there to try and stop Dyrus, gets a little bit of harass on, and misses the taunt.
So Zion going to pick up a bit of farm for himself, but you can see 138 to 157. Dyrus seems to be getting the better deal right here as TSM moves down onto the Dragon. Going to be another one that is just not contested. 3-0 on Dragons for Team Solo Mid.
So great global control out there for TSM. The only thing is Dyrus has to be careful, and he has to continue to purchase these wards. You can see he puts one in that tri-bush just now, but if he pushes past that area, you open yourself up to that vulnerable position where if you do get caught, the rest of TSM doesn't have the ability to jump to you. That's only Stand United on Dyrus.
Okay, so it's going to be Dyrus still chilling up in the top half of the map. The ultimates half available here for TSM. They don't have Wild Turtles, but I guess they do have everything else. A minion has destroyed a red turret. That bottom lane is still working well for TSM. Now 3-3 in turrets and a 6,000 gold lead. This does still seem to be them controlling this game.
It seems like TSM actually have gained the upper hand here. They've got the global presence. Dyrus still not having to use his Stand United. He just has the threat of it. He hasn't even had to pop that one off recently. So they still have that option, and they could just continue to do as they have. Protect their blue buff next is going to be the biggest point of contention here. They want to actually try and get that one onto Reggie this time because that actually opens up the threat of TSM pulling off a Baron. Blue buff on Karthus is one of the highest damage sources for single target, and it actually opens up them for having a 2-man Baron unit.
And that could be a very, very scary thing for GGU University because right now they don't seem to have much vision over that Baron area. We've seen a lot of these old school American teams are very good at those Baron sneaks, definitely in TSM's repertoire. And GGU, they're still looking at that poke game, it seems, kind of pushing their heads forward to that mid lane. They're not finding any success yet. What does GGU need to do to start making headway here?
You can see that TSM have switched their focus. They're prepping for that Baron control that they just got with Reggie on a blue buff by Dyrus moving from the top lane down to the bottom lane here now. So he's farthest away from Baron. So if he does draw Zion Spartan away, then he can run into the bushes, try and get out of range for Zion's knockback, and then TSM can force GGU into a bad spot around Baron. So all they're going to have to do now is the last piece that would be in that puzzle would be an Oracles, and they do have it on Xpecial. He's got an Oracles in his inventory, just pops it now. They can clear out the wards.
And speaking of clearing things out, this blue buff getting cleared his way as well. Wild Turtle will last hit that. Again, he takes a blue buff, but that would have been stolen away by Jinte otherwise, so good adaptation there. Wild Turtle definitely doing amazing this game. GGU, they just can't seem to find anything to do this game.
It's really hard for them because of the blue buff denial right there. Now is when TSM are going to put on the pressure. There it is. They all go to the Baron area. Exactly. They have Tyrus split pushing bottom. Oracle's going to clear out all these wards. And it's going to be up to GGU. How much money will they spend on wards to put over the back of Baron Pit? Over the back of Baron Pit constantly to make sure that TSM are not trying to do that one early.
Well, right now it's 0. Of course, the Ruby Sightstone is there for Daydreamin', and I haven't seen him spend any 75 gold wards on that just yet. But TSM, they're lurking around. They're actually going to find Nintendo X. The fear is going to be there. He flashes the wall, so he will get out. But that is a flash down for a pretty basic cooldown from the Odd One. Special will continue to sweep out wards in GGU's jungle.
Zion Spartan's also in trouble in that bottom lane. He had to run towards TSM's base because he tried to fight Dyrus, and Dyrus basically just shoved him off. Now he is in no position to get back. He has to recall, and TSM has free time to push on these turrets.
You do see it take a bit of damage there. The shield comes off from Daydreamin'. It gets down to about half health, and now Reginald is in mid, and he knows no one's quite around him yet as Special sweeps out wards and puts up one of his own. Mashmi again just being sent to clean up stuff over and over and over again. But you compare the AD carries, and it's 268 to 222, and this top turret's going to go down.
Textbook global comp play here from TSM. They've got the Shen more powerful enough to split push and solo the other top laner, so they really don't have any worries right now. All they have to do is continue to keep the oracles up, keep the vision up in this red side jungle. You see how deep they've warded, and now Nintendo might be caught out in a bad spot again. He doesn't have flash this time.
There's a wall of pain. There's a Nocturne ult as well. Jinte not in a good place. Has been exhausted. The fear as well. He's going to go down. Oddone finds that kill. Nintendo forced to run away. Does not quite land the Varus ult, but they're still running back. Crescendo lands onto 3. Cleanse from Mashmi. Nintendo goes down. Mashmi getting hit by Reginald right here. He's trying to put damage out. He actually finds a kill. Nice play, but it's a 3 for 1 so far. TSM still in control. Ult comes off. Does not quite find Daydreamin', and only Zion Spartan and Daydreamin' left alive for GGU.
Reggie might have some words for Dyrus after that, because he did go down. Dyrus didn't pull off his stand united, but it doesn't really matter. That was a great trade for TSM. They definitely came out of that one ahead. Karthus, he's used to dying. It's not a big deal. They're actually going to even rush the Baron off of this one, so that will be a huge win for them. And the next push that they do could very well be that bottom lane all the way through to an inhibitor.
Definitely a possibility here. TSM, of course, with complete control over Baron, going to get that one very happily. It's going to be theirs with no contestation at all. Now, whether they wait for Reginald, they will not. They could have waited 4 seconds, but I guess it does risk a steal. No, they won't go for that. Zion Spartan, though, all alone, could use another 299 Spartans really in this game because they seem to not do so great so far. GGU trying to push out something.
It's actually a good point, not waiting on Baron so they don't get it stolen. The other bonus of a poke comp is that you have that long range, that you always have threat of stealing it with a Lux combo, along with a Nasus in there, since he does have his ulti, or he does have he would have his ulti if that was ready. Yeah, it would be at his disposal.
Okay, so let's take a look. Right, we've seen games so far go late game and have super farmed AD carries with like ludicrously great item builds. This game has been TSM almost the entire time. What's GGU got to do to get themselves to this late game status so they can turn the game around?
Right now, they don't really have a choice anymore. They have to turtle. There's nothing on the map worth going outside of your turrets for. So they're going to have to stand behind it and hope that the dive from TSM just goes in their favor. Okay. They can't even venture out to get blue buffs, though. So the early tiers from the Lux and the Jace are going to be all important right here. They're just going to have to hope that they get an early catch. If they can light binding Reggie away from their team and then burst him down 100% before he's able to get into the center of them and get off all his AoE, then that would be a huge step in the right direction for them. They just have to worry about this Nocturne diving right into the back lines with a Shen on top of him.
That is going to be a scary combination here for GGU University. They've got the gate down, and they're just wave clearing over and over again, trying to keep their base in decent standing. So far, minions are not flooding their win, but you're seeing Dyrus and Reginald both split push. Why even send Reggie to split push here?
Because it's sort of that Dignitas mentality where we're so strong, we're just going to shove all 3 lanes right now. We're not scared of an engage from a poke comp. I mean, they've got great disengage here for GGU, but unless they land that light binding, it's going to be hard for them to catch somebody out. And you can see right there how Dyrus just flexing on Zion Spartans. Odd One's going to follow it up.
And Nocturne is there. There's a Karthus ult as well. There's a shield's going to come across. It's going to be an upper Requiem. A piercing arrow helped that one from Wild Turtle. The Odd One just walks right back out, just strolls by saying, great, thanks for the gold. And now time for a turret as Wild Turtle grabs his 3rd blue of the game. And TSM will grab their 5th turret.
Odd One there, tanking the turret, couldn't do anything to get it off him, so Dyrus just walking right behind him for a while, giving him a little massage, tell him it's going to be okay, man, you're going to get out of this one just fine. Now they're going to shove in on the inhibitor turret as well. Reggie's still up top, like you said, split pushing on Karthus, already burned his ultimate. TSM's just going to burn this one down.
There's a little bit of damage onto the Odd One of Wild Turtle, but they seem to not care too much about that. Just, hey, nice, the sun is a little bit warm for you, Lux, right there. Light Binding comes off onto the Odd One. Bit of pain right there. Still, actually, the ult comes off. Oh, Mashby's not in a great place. Daydreaming actually rooted in there as well. The inhibitor is going to fall as Reginald makes his way down through the mid lane. Dyrus takes some damage, but even still, GGU just cannot find almost anything. And let's see where TSM goes next.
Yeah, both Dyrus and Odd One building full tank right here. And with the Sona heals and regen from Baron backing up, they tank so much. Reggie actually almost getting caught out right there. And Dyrus walking through the backside.
Just look how tanky he is. He's just taking like damage and he basically laughs it off right there. Puts on a shield and says, great, you did a third of my health from your full team. That's nice. I'll walk by your turret some more. Reginald was forced out. That looks like TSM will back off of this one. There's only 20 seconds left on Baron. Zion Spartan actually is trying to get a little bit feisty here, but doesn't find anything to hit.
Yeah, it was well-timed aggression from TSM right there. Their Baron buff about to run out. Only a few more seconds on that one, and they've retreated to a very safe position. Everyone healing up and purchasing. Reggie now going to come back. He also got home guard boots on top of his, what is that, 586 ability power Karthus now.
Pretty good. It's a pretty high number. I think he's in reasonably good shape there. Has you know, some damage, I suppose. TSM, though, are just pushing their way on through the mid. And look at that, Dyrus face taking a turret. Says, champions aren't enough for me. I want a real challenge. Turrets aren't enough for me either. All right, what am I going to have to solo next?
Another turret.
Yes.
we'll use this one as well. Take that one. It looks like they are going to go for the dive, and Reggie flashing in.
He flashes on and gets knocked back by Zion Spartan, though. Jinte puts down the light binding, lasers on it. Reginald does a lot of damage there. There's the shuttle. They get the communication, but Reggie's still going to burn down. Now can Jinte get to safety in time? He's in the fountain, puts the shield down. He survives it with like 12 health. The fountain barely keeping him alive. Zion Spartan feared, forced to run back as well. GGU have a potential 5-on-4. Can they keep their base from falling over?
A little bit too aggro there by Reggie, because nobody on GGU did go down. You're right, he survived with a double-digit health right there, and they didn't get another turret. There was no big main objective taken. It was just a little aggressive dive that turned wrong.
I'm wondering if they were like missing out on the Odd One's ulti as well. Like, he has it up now. I don't know if it was up at the time of the fight necessarily, because he did use it to dive Zion Spartan earlier. But that said, I don't know if that was part of the equation that Reginald had thought was involved in that battle. But now Dragon and Baron are spawning in about a minute and a half each. It's going to be on the map soon. With the bottom inhibitor dead, can GGU even challenge?
I mean, TSM did get a little antsy there, so that gave GGU a little bit of hope. You know, that could very well happen again if they can keep Reginald on tilt. Hope that they do some more dives here from TSM without giving up an objective like that. Then it would be great for GGU, and they can always hope for that Baron steal. Like we said, Lux, the perfect champion. Just the ability combos that she has are so long range, and they give vision of health of Baron. So if he's able to pull off a Link steal, then it would be perfect for them. Don't match me very close, just playing Dyrus right there, taunting him so close to landing that.
Ironic that he's the one trying to taunt Shen. Agba now comes in onto Mashme, gets the fear right there. Actually jukes the Crescendo with the fear, but still goes down. Wild Turtle finds one. Nintendo now forced to run away. Final Spark comes across, hitting across 4 members of TSM, but they are still ready to dive in onto this one. 30 seconds on Baron or Dragon, and they don't care. They want to go for the turret right here. A lot of punishment coming out from them. Jinte forced to run away through the acceleration gate. He's going to be alive for now, but TSM are bringing down this turret brick by brick. It has fallen over. 8 turrets down overall for TSM, and now the inhibitor is the focus. Some damage comes in from GGU. They're putting a little bit of pain down. TSM are not to be pushed back right there. Wither comes onto Wild Turtle. He just fires back, putting damage onto Nintendo. His middle turret now going to go down. This could be the 3rd and final inhibitor that might go down on GGU's side. Turret is gone. Inhibitor now the focus, and that's going to be theirs as well.
Yeah, Don't Match Me definitely paid in the end there for his little game with Dyrus. They executed him and took 2 inhibitors off of that. We're back to another game. All 3 inhibitors down. This is a GGU team now with their backs against the wall. We'll see how they can fare. Maybe they'll pull off a miraculous comeback. A Baron steal would be a good start to that, but that would not be a finish to it. They would need even more on top of that. Dyrus, he's able to go 1 versus 1 with Zion. Can he 1 versus 2 even if Jen is there, it looks like he can.
He takes Zion's
Walk
Ignite.
away.
Yeah, he does not quite land the Shock Blast there, so no follow-up damage, and Dyrus will run back, you know, just happily saying, great, I wasted one of your summoner spells. 3-minute cooldown on that, no big worry. But GGU are actually getting some control over their own blue buff, which is nice. It's actually a bit of a change for them.
All right, so since we did confirm that Nintendo indeed has flashed this game instead of Ghost, the option for flashing over to steal Baron is there as well. He can combo that with Jinte. We've seen it before. He's gone over. He's had a miraculous Baron steal, and they were able to turn the game around off that. So never say die if you're GGU. You just have to have the rest of your team defending your base, because 3 inhibitors down means that there's going to be double super creeps spawning in all the lanes, and it's going to take every bit of manpower that you have to defend those.
Well, thankfully for them, they did get their bottom inhibitor finally respawn. You're seeing the super minion wave right there, those double super minions that are shoving in. They're getting stopped out. So thankfully for GGU, that tide will be stemmed a little bit, but of course still 2 inhibitors have been freshly taken out. And TSM, they just healed up and went right back to Baron right after that one. And here they go, clearing out the ward, and they begin the dance again.
Zion, or Nintendo here, he's getting into position, but Reggie knows what he's thinking, wants to head him off here. They back off of Baron for a little bit. Now they're moving in. This is all going to be just a desperate Baron still here. Can he pull this one off? It's going low so quickly.
It's down very, very low. Another ward comes down from Daydream, puts another one down as well. But there's Nintendo fighting up against Reginald. Reginald wants to solo him out. Daydream is showing up. There's the knockdown ult, the Sona ult as well. They jump in on this fight. Nintendo flashes over the wall. He wants to try to fight for this one, but he gets bursted down first. And now there's no smite steal available. Final Spark comes across. That will not land either. Odd One smites this one out. 1 kill for nothing. Baron picked up as well. Now Jinte not in a good place. Puts a shield down. He's going to fall over. Reginald finds the second kill of the fight. They're jumping now onto Zion Spartan. That's going to be a beautiful Requiem triple kill. He picks up 3 kills now, Reginald. And now only Don't Mash Me is alive. Shenot comes across, joins the rest of TSM. They're going to push down the mid lane. TSM will secure themselves into the top 2.
Good job by TSM right there. They stopped the Baron. They fought over the wall, killing Nintendo, securing the Baron right there. Odd One has not missed a smite in a very, very, very long time.
So there we go. The Nexus falls. That is TSM in a wonderful place right now. GGU still need to find a win in their last game of the season to keep themselves in a guaranteed spot in the playoffs. They lose again, they might fall down to a tie, almost for sure, in fact. But TSM, the story is on to them. They are kind of the season's most improved team. Right now they sit at #1, if I recall correctly.
Yeah,
and they have
Curse just lost. They're number 1 now.
TSM now the #1 team in North America with 1 game left to play. For them, for Curse, for most of the teams now in the league.
I'm sure that chat's going wild here with the TSM chants, because who would have seen this one coming? In the beginning of the LCS, a lot of people were critiquing TSM pretty harshly.
Yeah.
Once they did that switch, bringing in Wild Turtle, it really did just pull a 180. Their entire team, their mentality, everything, their view of the game, and they came back harder, they came back stronger, and they have finished this one out. Now they're sitting at #1. Really, everybody's eyes are going to be looking to see, can they finish the season in the top spot?
There's definitely a chance right here. Like I said, the worst they can do now is tie for first with Curse, and they'll have to fight a tiebreaker if that happens. Otherwise, they could just finish first. Now, it's, you know, whichever one it is, it could be one of the two. But after the break, it's going to be TSM's Special and Reginald joining us to talk about their big win, and Jack dissects the day's key plays. And the breakdown for the playoff picture is going to come up as well. Don't go AFK. There's tons more LCS to come right after this. Welcome everybody here to the Interview Lounge. I'm joined by TSM's Reginald and Xpecial. Congratulations on your win, guys. You're guaranteed in the top 2. How's that feel?
It feels like a big burden has just gotten off my back, mainly because job security is everything, you know. Like, if you get knocked out, you pretty much have nothing to do for 9 months, and that would really suck. So I'm extremely happy right now that we won our match and we played really well as well.
Okay, so looking back at your season so far, you guys started out pretty rocky, but in season 2 you were the best team in North America, undisputed. Looking back now, what made you fall back down? What made you come back up?
One of the biggest things is I wasn't really doing my job as a shot caller. It transitioned through a phase where I just stopped calling shots, mainly because after Worlds I was extremely depressed and I just didn't do anything. I didn't really play League that much, and then the season started and I started to play the game a lot more again, and the team was really messy in communication. Both me and Calix were making calls, and there wasn't really we weren't really decisive in our games, and now we transitioned to me just making calls and everyone listening. So, and also we're prepping a lot more. We're coming up with a lot more compositions that we play. So I'm doing all the prep right now and all the strategy, and it's come out really well because everyone's listening, and we make sure to play 4 champions each, not get banned out, and pretty much we just communicate a lot better as a team.
Oh, that's great to hear. Of course, you guys are doing very, very well. Now, Xpecial, the other change you guys have made for your team is, of course, the new AD carry player. Now, he was interviewed and he said he didn't quite feel like he deserved this level of success, that he was trying to prove himself still. How do you feel about Wild Turtle so far?
He's a weird guy. You see Turtle, you see his interviews, you interact with him. Oh, all right, I interact with him. I know he's a weird guy, but he is very ambitious, and that's what I like the most about him. When he plays poorly, he admits it. He goes, all right, gotta fix this and this. And he improves on it. And it's probably the biggest thing, the biggest factor why we even picked him up, is his ambition to just succeed and to improve. And we're really happy that he's doing that.
So to follow up on that, what are the sort of traits, additionally, that you sort of look for in a player? You guys barely ever change players. What sort of traits do you guys embody that makes you so consistent?
Well, like I was saying, ambition. If you don't want to win, if you kind of don't give it your all, then the rest of your teammates aren't going to do the same. It's really whatever one person does, everyone pretty much just follows. And Turtle, he brings in this new blood, and you see a lot of old teams, in other sports, you see them always have new players, and these new players kind of drive the rest of them to make them push them harder, and that's kind of what we're seeing. And I really like how Turtle brings in this new atmosphere and this energetic spirit, and it's doing us really good.
All right, that's great to hear. So when you look at sort of the end of the season, we're going to have some challenger teams coming in and trying to fight for spots in the LCS. We've got a lot of guys watching you, of course, as the professionals, and they want to get in the LCS as well. What kind of advice can you give to up-and-coming teams to get themselves to your level?
I really think preparation is 80 or 90% of the match itself. You want to go into the match knowing what you're going to play and knowing what you're going to ban. And one of the biggest things is really studying your opponents. If you talk to the Asian teams, right, about Worlds, they came in planned for every team, watching every VOD, knowing what each team plays. And that's one of the biggest things that took us very long to learn. Through season 1, through season 2, we didn't really do that. And by this season, we've gotten a lot more competitive. We started adapting more, and we started to learn and learn and learn. And we're getting used to preparation, because the more you learn to prep, the faster you get at prepping. So right now, I think that amateur teams really need to learn how to prep, and that goes with a lot of things. You have to sleep right, you have to eat right, and you have to prepare for your matches. You have to know what opponents you're playing, and you always have to prepare. And that's something that we've been practicing a lot and very hard on, and we're getting a lot better at that.
You guys are going to come in, you're the #1 North American team, and of course, we're going to think about the World Championship in the future when you're going to play some of the best teams in the world if you make it out of North America. Are you guys ready to play the world's best teams?
Right now, I don't think that we're on their level, but we're working towards there, and I think that we can get there. I don't think it's impossible, but I think that they are still ways ahead of us, and we really need to work a lot harder if we want to get there.
Okay, well, we'll see if you guys can do it. Of course, good job so far in the season. Top 2 guaranteed for TSM. Again, a great season for you guys. Thank you so much for your time. And we'll see you one more time throughout the day as you play out your last match, and maybe a tiebreaker as well. You might have more games in front of you. But that's it for us here at the Interview Lounge. We'd love to send it over to Jat to break down one of the key games from CLG versus Martin.
Thank you very much, Freak. And this was the fight that pretty much decided things here. You can already see that the gold is 69,000 to 59,000. This is the comeback that Marna became. And let's just start rolling this fight at half speed so we can get into it. The very start of it, Claky D decides to initiate in on double lift, and he's isolated. Let's actually pause it here. So you can see, Claky D, there's no way he's going to kill double lift in this one-on-one. But he's at least distracting him. Double lift isn't near the team. And that's a one-man zone out of double lift. And as we get through the rest of this fight, Chowster, Hotshot, and also Link, who is just off the side of the screen, are all going to take their shots at getting to the Tristana. So let's roll this really slow so we can watch it start coming out. The crescendo lands, but no one's there. First up on the docket, Hotshot gets pulled. Then he's going to be trying to go for Niantanso. So he's actually going to jump in right here. And if we pause it, we get to see, as we play the rest of this fight, how much Marn focuses onto Chowster here. He gets completely messed up by the wall. He's getting flayed back and forth. Aurelia is on top of him stunning. He can't make it. Link is going to be the next one to go because Hotshot's going to actually get knocked back by Heartbeat in this. So let's roll the clip incredibly slow as well. You see Hotshot gets knocked back so he doesn't get to stun. Now pause it again. It's almost like Link and Hotshot just traded places because Hotshot got blown back. He's at half health. Chowster's still getting distracted by Mega Zero. And Link actually got hit by a perfectly timed exhaust from Heartbeat. So when he went in, he couldn't burst him down. So let's keep rolling this fight slowly to just watch how immune Niantanso is from all of this. The Zonies have to be popped from Link. He's not able to get it. And this time, welcome to Chauster. He didn't even get his ultimate in. He died as his banish toss was about to land. Link gets put down as well. Let's roll the rest of the clip at full speed because double lift in the bottom did finish off Claky D, but it didn't matter at that point because Niantanso took on 3. Double lift could only take on 1. Marn rolled through the rest of this fight and ended up taking the rest of the game. That was the most impressive comeback we saw, I'd have to say, in the LCS this year, and we can only hope for more exciting action through the rest of the day. Back to you guys.
Well, we'll see if we can get some more of that exciting action as we do have 5 more games on the day. But before we get into that, we asked you guys to let us know what nickname would you give the North American All-Star team and why. Well, here's what you had to say on Facebook and Twitter. First off, America.
I like that one. Then we have Yami Nenji says, Chickstig ELO2, Revengeance.
Of course, we have the next one, which is Dyrus +4.
Definitely a Dyrus fan right there, I'm sure. We have Carried by Double Lift. I'm sure he would approve of that one.
It's kind of in the same vein as well. Oh, that wasn't even supposed to be a pun. Skara's Mariachi Band. That's a good one. I like that one.
That's a big one. And then we have the best NA. A little repetitive. But we would love to hear more from you guys. Get on Twitter. We're at LOL eSports. Remember to use the hashtag LCS.
All right, now guys, let's take a look at how today's first 3 matches have affected the standings so far. TSM is alone at the top of the standings for the first time all year, and they're guaranteed a top 2 finish now.
Curse is in second and will lock down a first-round bye with a win. Dignitas, they're sitting in third, but they can still tie Curse for second with 2 wins and another Curse loss. CLG is in fourth, and like we said before, that's where they're going to stay.
Absolutely. Now, Vulcan is now alone in 5th, and they can lock down a playoff spot for themselves with a win in either of their 2 games today. GGU has slipped down to 6th after their loss, and if they lose their next match against CLG, they'll face the winner of today's Complexity and Marn match in a 1-game playoff at the end of today's show. Now that you guys know what the playoff scenarios are, let's take a look at the matchups on the rest of the day. Coming up next, it is Dignitas versus Vulcan. After that, GGU battles Counter Logic Gaming.
Then it's Dignitas taking on TSM, followed by Complexity versus Marn, and finally it's Vulcan battling Curse.
We're not even halfway through this epic day of gaming, so don't go anywhere. The battle for the final playoff spots continues right after this quick break.